Okay, this is problem 3.6 in your book. I'll just read the problem. In mice, the allele big C for colored fur is dominant over the allele little c for white fur. The allele big V for normal behavior is dominant over the allele little v for waltzing behavior, a form of discoordination. Given the genotypes, give the genotypes of each of the parents in the following crosses. Okay, so you should pull out your book and sort of follow along there, and then I'll show you what I've done here as I work out the problem. Okay, so but before you start even doing any of that, you need to take like we do in all the problems, you need to take the information that's in the problem and convert it into sort of a manageable sort of summary. Here in this box here, I've just drawn out the genotype. So I have big C dash, so meaning it's dominant. Because it's dominant, it can be either little c or big C right here. That gives you colored fur. Little c gives you white fur because it's recessive. Big V dash gives you normal coordination. And little v gives you the waltzing coordination or that discoordination. Okay, so I've summarized all of that here. Now I can move on to see exactly, now that I kind of have all of that organized, I can move on to see what they're going to be asking us in the question. So in A, it says a colored normal mice mated with a colored normal mice to produce. Oh no. Oh, sorry. So a colored normal mice mated with a white normal mice or mouse, I guess it should be, produced 29 colored normal and 10 colored waltzing progeny. Now, I guess it's mice because it's plural, because they have a whole bunch of offspring here. So they took a bunch of colored normal mice and they mated them with white normal mice. So here again, A, I just write down A. We're doing A right here. And I look at these phenotypes and just draw out in the beginning the possible genotypes. And so colored normal mice here, big C dash, big B dash, because you don't know what these other alleles are, mates with a white normal mice. So white is little c. Um, um, normal is big V dash because we don't know what that allele is. Okay, and so that's the mating, and out of that mating, you get 29 colored normal mice and 10 colored waltzing mice. And so all you have to do here is you say, okay, here are the genotypes of, or the phenotypes of the progeny. Colored normal, draw out the genotype for the colored normal, right? And that would be big C, and you could put a dash here, big V dash, right? Because you don't necessarily know, but we're going to look at how we do know. For that one, 10 colored waltzing, big C dash, but you know waltzing, right, is little v. So you know there's a little v there. So here, let's just look at the colored versus white. If this was a little c up here, so you had a big C mating with a little c, you would, on average, expect half of the offspring to be colored and half of the offspring to be white. But what do you see? You see all of the offspring are colored. That then indicates that this allele here in the parent is big C. So big C mating with little c. If you did a Punnett square for that, you would get all colored offspring. Same with here, if you look at this genotype, the 10 waltzing, you know, to have the phenotype of waltzing, you have to have a little v allele. So what does that tell you? That tells you something about the parents, that each of them necessarily needed to have a little v. So little v. So just basically from these phenotypes, you can infer that one parent is big C, big V, little v. Each of those parents have to have a little v, and that should be a V right here, sorry. And the other parent is little c, big V, little v. You can just infer that from the offspring. Okay, so for B, you have a colored normal mice mated with a colored normal mice to produce 39 colored normal, 15 colored waltzing, 11 white normal, and 4 white waltzing. Okay, so here I just summarize it here. Here are the genotypes: big C dash, big B dash, mating with big C dash, big B dash. Okay, so they have both of those phenotypes, but what you get in the result is you get all 4 of these phenotypic classes. You get colored normal, colored waltzing, white normal, white waltzing. So it's always nice here when you have an offspring that has the recessive condition. So here, because this phenotypic class, they're waltzing, they have a little v, you now know that each parent is going to have a little v. Here in this one here on the bottom, it's white waltzing, right? So you know that both parents are also going to have a little c, because you have to have a little c in this genotype. So you can just go back, you can just kind of work backwards and figure out these parental genotypes. What's more is in the numbers, you saw it up here too, but you also see it down here. This is essentially a 9:3:3:1 ratio. A 9:3:3:1 ratio results from a dihybrid cross between 2 individuals that are homozygous, heterozygous at each of those genes, right? Here, this one is essentially a 3:1 ratio, right? Because the only offspring from here that actually varies is the normal versus waltzing. So it's essentially like a big V, little v mating with a big V, little v. You're going to get a 3:1 of normal to waltzing. So you can use both the numbers and just the pure genotypes to figure these things out. So let's look at C. You have a colored normal mice mated with white waltzing mice to produce 8 colored normal, 7 colored waltzing, 9 white normal, and 6 white waltzing progeny. Okay, so here, write these out, the genotypes. The genotypes would be C dash, big C dash, big V dash, that's normal, that's colored normal, with white waltzing, recessive, and you get basically all 4 phenotypic classes out. In this one, colored normal, colored waltzing, white normal, white waltzing. Also, you notice this is essentially a 1:1:1 ratio. That's kind of like a test cross, right? But based on that, if you had a big C, but then you can also just sort of infer back. If you had a big C mating with a big C little, or a little c, right? Then you would get all of your offspring would be colored. But what do you get? You get essentially half of your offspring are colored and half of your offspring are white. So you know that has to be a little c. Same thing with the waltzing behavior. About half of them, 13, right, of them are waltzing. 17 of them are normal. So you know that there is a little v here. And so that is then going to be the parental genotypes. So these are pretty easy. You can use the numbers, the ratios a little bit to inform you, but you can also just work backwards and say, okay, what do the parents have to have? Okay. And that is 3.6. Let me stop this.